Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can get us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a telephone that was sent in by Jane from Indiana. And this is a Dolphin phone, and it's a really cool telephone. So it kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like there. So it's really a very neat telephone. And Jane had some problems with this telephone, and I have some parts here that were replaced. And she had some humming in the telephone in the background, she says, and the volume of the telephone was very low. So this is a final checkout video of this telephone, and basically what we're going to do is go through some checks on the telephone after the repair. So this is a final checkout. Let's go ahead and ring the phone. I'm going to let that go a couple of times. And when you pick this telephone up, you actually have to turn it on. You should have dial tone there. And so basically, I'm going to go through some of the numbers now. Go ahead and dial. End up with a 2. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to hit redial. And then I'm going to go ahead and speak into it. That's 100% modulation on the analyzer, that red indicator light. Every time I speak into the telephone, that indicates 100% modulation. And we're going to show you dial tone one more time. And I have this telephone apart, so we're going to kind of show you what's going on here. This telephone had some different issues. One of the issues that this phone had was the 2 wires going from the piezo buzzer over to the main PC board here. Somebody had taken the phone apart and broke these wires free from the board. So we had to kind of study the circuitry a little bit and get these 2 wires back on to the main PC board so this telephone would ring. And that happens pretty often. I get where people have taken phones apart and they will tear these little tiny piezo buzzer wires away from the board, or they'll tear other wires away from the board. So basically, looking for one problem, they create another problem. And so we've got them relocated on the board. The other thing is we replaced a microphone element, and the old one is over here. If we're going to go through all this work, since she had some background noise and some hum, we want to change that microphone element. And the other thing that we did was we changed this receiver capsule. I checked the impedance of this receiver capsule, and I wanted to match up the impedance a little better, so we replaced the receiver capsule with one that matches the impedance of the telephone a little better. And we also, since she said something about the volume was low on the receive, we also upped the volume some by shorting out a limiter resistor here for the automatic gain control for the receive. So we shorted that out, and that brought up the receive. So the receive is at its loudest at this point with this circuitry. You couldn't do too much more to it to make it any louder without kind of making things sound funny or overdriving it. So there was also some bad solder on the board, and we resoldered the whole PC board. I like to just resolder everything when I see some bad solder. But we also hot glued the wires at both points for the piezo buzzer, so that if it's ever taken apart again by somebody, that the wires won't tear free from the board freely. And the receiver capsule's been hot glued in, and some of these wires have been stabilized to the board with hot glue, and the microphone's been hot glued in. But let's do this. Let's take the telephone, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into a regular line, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the telephone on, and I'm going to dial like a time and temp number.
Good afternoon. Our body shop can repair almost any make and model for less. Offenburg Belleville, 234-0330. Today is Saturday, June 26th. The time is 1:12. Current temperature 106 degrees. Now the weather forecast for the Belleville area.
Hot and humid today, mostly sunny skies, highs in the mid-90s.
And I'm going to back away from the phone. And I can still hear that rather well, even at this distance away. So I know the video is picking up the sound. So dial tone. So the receive should be up to par now, and it should be adequate. Everything should be fine. Well, we're going to go ahead and put this telephone back together again, but this gives you a look at this Dolphin phone, and it's a really cool phone. I'll go ahead and turn it off now and put it back together a little bit. But this is a very neat telephone, and we get a lot of calls for these Dolphin telephones. People like them, and these character phones are a pretty hot item, and we'll get this Dolphin phone all back together again and ready to send back to the customer, Jane. And this gives you kind of a look at it. It's got a nice finish on it. If I would have built this telephone, I would have liked to have the eyes light up on this phone. That would have been cool. Like if you picked the phone up and turned it on, the eyes would light. That would be a cool option. And this one doesn't have that, but anyway, that's the way I would have designed it. And that would have been a kind of a neat feature. But it's a cool Dolphin, and a lot of people like these kind of telephones, these novelty phones that are characters, and it's cool. And I think anybody'd like to have this telephone. So anyway, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone, A1 Electronics. You can get us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. I want to ring it, give it one final ring. Put over in the analyzer. Let it ring a couple times. Go ahead and activate the phone. There's your dial tone. And you should be okay now. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.